Joining us this morning, Tom Forte, DA Davidson Managing Director, has a buy on Apple, recently raised the target to $193. Tom, I think that's about a $20 bump, and you cite a number of reasons, easing FX, EM in China, or India, I should say, financial services. Can you sort of ladder out which are the most important?
Sure. So first off, I like Warren Buffett's comment there. And if you look at the quarter Apple just reported, they also indicated that they're going to buy back 90 billion more shares of stock, which is what Warren's talking about. So Apple's basically saying, hey, investors, if you're not going to buy our stock, and hey, Warren Buffett, if you're not going to buy our stock, we're going to buy our stock. So if you look at the March quarter, it was better than expected iPhone sales on the reopening of China that drove the results. And you are seeing improvement in FX. What was a 10 percentage point headwind went down to a 5 percentage point headwind and is now expected to be 4 points in the June quarter. But really, it was the strength of the iPhone on a reopening China that drove the stock's performance.
Do you see them, we had this discussion this morning, moving into parts of the world where just the average selling price has largely made it an Android part of the planet, where they can actually go on offense in countries maybe where an Apple iPhone has been too expensive historically?
I think that that's an opportunity and a challenge. So if you look at India and you compare India against China, they have a tremendous playbook for China, which is about 10 percentage points of their sales. So 10% of their sales come from Chinese consumers, and their supply chain is heavily dependent on China. So perhaps in a decade, India could be 5 to 10% of revenue and a greater portion of their supply chain being handled in India. It is very much an Android market. Apple historically hasn't done well with lower priced iPhones. Consumers want the one with all the bells and whistles, which tends to be the most expensive one. But as the Indian economy improves, as there's more middle-income consumers there, that's an opportunity for Apple. But I think we have to, it's a 5 to 10 year opportunity.
What did we learn, Tom, about the susceptibility to consumer demand weakness? That's what everybody's worried about in the market. And of course, with those high-priced iPhones, I mean, it's held up relatively well so far.
We learned that Apple's not immune. So while it was a strong quarter for iPhones, and I've seen the argument that, the iPhone's kind of a consumer staple now, it was a weak performance for their services. And you see it in the digital advertising, including for mobile gaming. So Apple's not immune to macroeconomic challenges. And I think that that's, been prevalent and it's affecting Apple. But the good news is they continue to outperform versus expectations.